Hello and welcome to the Brick News, our weekly show on all things brick building, where we talk about set updates and announcements from all the major brands, MOCs of the week, and I think we do have a reading recommendation this week as well. Information is presented as always by setdb.org, the best source for set information on the internet, and this is where we're going to go, and we will start with the brand BlueBrixx over here from Central Europe, and they have a couple of announcements actually. A BlueBrixx Pro set, a Wuppertaler hanging monorail or suspension railway. Actually, in German, it's Wuppertaler Schwebebahn. It's quite iconic, and as you can see, they do have also a license from the local municipal services from Wuppertal. This thing is kind of a industrial landmark design over here from Germany, so I think a lot of folks from over here are quite excited that BlueBrixx is now doing this set. As far as I can tell, they're only doing this one diorama piece. It's quite large actually. It is in size basically 85 by 56 centimeters or 22 by 33 inches roughly. So this is not a small set, and as far as I can tell, they do only this one. So you basically have one rail and this a little bit off track, if you will. In case you plan to have something like this for your entire city, I think a lot more has to be done, but maybe this set can be an inspiration to design your own tracks basically around the city. This set already has 5,744 pieces. My guess is this will be roughly a minifigure scale, but that remains to be seen. Actually, quite a nice design as far as I can tell. I've never been to Wuppertal, but I think it looks, at least to me, quite authentic. With that, we're moving on to the Desert Oasis announcement 108879. I guess the name speaks for itself. It has 4,004 pieces based on BlueBrixx current planning. Sometimes BlueBrixx, my apologies, is changing this a little bit when they move up to release and Q&A is done, etc. in between announcement and actual set release. But yeah, I think it looks quite beautiful. Actually, you have the oasis with the pond, palm trees and everything. A couple of camels, all of them brick built, which is quite nice. But also this tent and the tower. So all in all, quite a nice, beautiful design. I'm really a big fan of that. With that, moving on to the medieval shipyard announcement 108884. This one is going to have 1,790 pieces. It's going to be a BlueBrixx special, so not a BlueBrixx Pro set like the previous two. I keep, just as a quick recap, what the difference is. BlueBrixx special means you get the pieces usually not without a back separation, just all the pieces, and then you have to sort them yourself. It's much more like a mock building experience, if you will, and the instructions come only digitally. BlueBrixx Pro is more like a regular set, similar to Lego, like you get a colored box and back separation, building faces, whatever you might call it, and also paper instructions. So this is part of the medieval series by BlueBrixx. As you can see, it has also pin connectors on the side, so I think they did this medieval harbor set a couple of months ago, and also what I think something like a ship, a fishing hut or something like that. My guess is that you can combine this set with these other ones, but in general it fits of course quite nicely in the medieval scenery set lineup by BlueBrixx. All of these sets have in common that they have a much more, let's say, realistic view on the medieval ages over here in Central Europe. So, for instance, compared to Lego's Castle line, which of course is more like a comic kind of a vibe that has nothing to do with what actually happened over here 500 years ago. BlueBrixx, on the other hand, is going into a much more realistic direction, and they have actually nowadays quite a lot of sets out there, of course, around their flagship series, Blaustein Castle. With that, we're moving on to something that is much more modern, announcement of the Container House 108886. I don't know how it is in other parts of the world, but over here in Europe, as far as I can tell, this whole tiny home movement is getting much more popularity nowadays, and I think this design goes in that direction. This set has 445 pieces. Based on the level of detail, it looks like it has a lot more actually. So I mean, it's relatively small, so to say, but it has everything that you need and quite a lot of detail, and I think a lot of charm to it as well. With that, moving on to Hansel and Gretel Gretel. I don't know how it is pronounced in English. In German, it's Hänsel und Gretel. Anyhow, the gingerbread house, quite a famous and well-known story, 108880. This set will have 1554 pieces. As far as I can tell, it is a BlueBrixx Pro set, but at least so far, BlueBrixx has not given us any pictures on minifigures, which of course is a bit weird because, I mean, this is a story around, 3 characters in a nutshell, right? There is the witch and then, or the woman, and then these 2 kids. So it's a bit weird that so far we haven't seen any minifigures. But my guess is because it is a BlueBrixx Pro set, there's also a difference. Usually BlueBrixx Specials come without minifigures in most cases. BlueBrixx Pro do nowadays more and more since BlueBrixx introduced their own minifigure lineup a couple of months ago. So yeah, I'm a bit surprised that we are not seeing any minifigures yet. But maybe the design is not done yet, and so that's why they are still waiting. Who knows? Let's hope and cross fingers that this thing comes with minifigures, because I actually do believe it does need them. With that, we're moving on to the Merchant Wagon. And title doesn't suggest this, but my guess is this has also like a medieval vibe. A 108882, and as you can see, yeah, you have the small car, the horse, which is actually a ZHEGAO horse. You can see this based on the 2 studs on the back, and then you have the cart itself, which is relatively tiny, but I guess you should be able to fit a minifigure in there if you so desire. And then we have another BlueBrixx Play set, which BlueBrixx Play is the kids line of BlueBrixx. However, from a concept point of view, very similar to BlueBrixx Pro. This one here is the 10828336, announcement of the garbage truck, which looks actually quite nice. It's a relatively detailed garbage truck. It has a very decent size. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this design. You have 3 minifigures included as well. So everything you need, the crew, the truck, and so on and so forth. Then we have the Floating City, 108881. I actually did ask around this morning when I did the German version of this show, but so far nobody has answered my questions in the comment section. So you guys now have a free shot. Like, what is this supposed to be? I mean, yes, I understand what it is. It's kind of a medieval floating in the air village. And then you have the waterfall, and this goes down into a gray, modern, Sin City-like city. But I guess, is there a pop culture reference that I'm missing here? That is my question. Somebody actually said, yes, that's the Cloud City from Star Wars. But no, it is not. I'm pretty sure. So the question is, what is it? I actually don't know. But anyhow, let's see what somebody of you maybe comes up with. With that, we're moving on to 2 availabilities. Actually, 2 of these 6-in-1 field sets. So this is first of all the wheat field, 16 by 32, 108019. This has 936 pieces. Comes without prints. This is a BlueBrixx special. It's gonna cost you $30, and keep in mind this is a 6-in-1 set, as they call it. So it's like different build ideas for the same wheat field, but you don't get all 6 of them. You get actually just the one. BlueBrixx is asking for $30, like I said, 3.2 cents a piece. And then they have the cornfield. Again, same concept. It's 6-in-1, so you have 6 different variants that you can build out of this set, which is actually quite nice. 108055, 624 pieces, 20 euros, 3.2 cents a piece. With that, moving on to CaDA. And here I have from China so far, from one of my retail partners, but we in this case, the first pictures of the new Audi R8 CaDA set. So it seems CaDA has a license from Audi, as far as I can tell. This seems to be an 8-stud car or 1x24 scale vehicle. So this is basically what Lego would call a speed champion. So CaDA has been making a lot of these actually over the years. Not as much as, or not as many as Lego does, or Mould King, for instance, who are really doing a lot of them. But from time to time, CaDA is moving into this direction as well. Anyhow, this is a 55027. Gonna cost you in China $16 right now. I can't tell based on the numbers or based on the pictures that I have so far if these are pet printed pieces, the Audi logo, etc., or just stickers. But it's actually not much anyhow. This is a relatively clean brick build design. So yeah, let's see until we have official pictures by CaDA itself. Then CaDA is also moving now into the dinosaur area, which I think is quite interesting. I mean, LEGO has been doing a lot of these. However, LEGO is always doing them under the Jurassic Park umbrella, which of course is a bit unfortunate, also from price-performance ratio of these sets. So CaDA has now these 3 relatively small dinosaurs, or dinosaur skeletons, if you will, fossils, whatever you may call it. But actually, they have a pretty good price point. Currently, you can get them in Asia for around $10, which is like 3 cents a piece, slightly above that. What is interesting is it seems, based on these pictures, that they have kind of a glow in the dark feature, which is interesting. So these pieces actually look like regular ton pieces, but it seems they are something new, because glow in the dark pieces usually have more like a yellowish, not yellowish, more like white, light greenish vibe to them, even during daylight. But these, however, at least on the pictures, look like regular 10 pieces, but they seem to glow at night. Not really sure how this works, but they have actually made 3 of them. So we have a Stegosaurus, that's the 59012, then a Triceratops, 59013, or 012 was the Stegosaurus, 013 is the Triceratops, and then the Velociraptor is the 014 then. All 3 of them basically you can right now get in China for around $10. As always, keep in mind, when I name a Chinese retail price points, it's usually including shipping into Central Europe, because it's where I'm located, but obviously, your mileage may vary depending on where you live. With that, moving on to Forange. And here we have, it seems, the new USS Enterprise CV6 aircraft carrier. This is the 4206 by Forange. Please keep me honest here if I'm mistaken, but I think this is a new set. I'm pretty sure Forange has done Enterprise before, but anyhow, this is it now. 1,883 pieces. Not a small set. It's 76 centimeters in length. That's almost 30 inches. And 14 centimeters width, 5.5 inches, 23.5 in height. That's slightly above 9 inches. I have only a couple of pictures from my retail partner Bowie at this point, but yeah, it looks like a pretty nice design. I'm really a big fan of this one. I mean, the Enterprise, of course, you can already get from Kobe. I think Kobe is still selling it. So technically, when I have the chance, oh, there are minifigure pictures, so I have to block these pictures, unfortunately. I did miss this before. My apologies. These minifigures are too close to Lego, which is kind of not allowed over here in Europe, because Lego has a 3D trademark on these. Anyhow, long story short, USS Enterprise by Forange, I would personally go with the Kobe version, but that's just me. With that, we're moving on to Fano, the Street Dance set, which is another Street Fusion set. I think we talked last week about the Music Factory Lifehouse. And this seems to be kind of a complementary smaller set. 9069, it's going to have 429 pieces. Of course, it has the Funhole party piece of a light kit that is included, and also quite a lot of minifigures and mechanically movable elements, as Funhole states here, which technically just means you can have your break dancers actually move around. There's a motorcycle included as well, and like I said, I think it's 5 or 6 minifigures, which is actually quite a lot. It's actually 5, so maybe we can take the opportunity and put 5 minifigures into the set DB with a change request. With that, we're moving on to Lego, and here we have the Mario Kart 72037 announced. This thing will release May 15, and Lego, I'm sorry, my apologies, is asking for $170. That's not too shabby for a Nintendo set, because usually Nintendo sets from Lego are quite expensive. Plus, at least over here in Europe, we can already see a couple of discounts already. So this thing will go into retail, and so we can expect over time at least to have some discounts. Of course, it depends on where you live. I'm actually a big fan of this design. I think it's really beautiful, very well done. I really like the size. Having like a brick built Mario big fig sounds quite exciting, and I don't know, based on what I see right now, it seems to me at least that we are talking about pet printed pieces primarily and not too many stickers. So let's see how this goes. But yeah, I'm actually a big fan. Even these I guess, 2x4 tiles here. At least on this picture that I'm showing right now, it looks to me like this is pet printed, which is really cool. Really nice design. Yeah, Mario Kart. I mean, I never owned an NES, but Mario Kart was definitely a game I played with my friends on their NESs. Anyhow, 72037. Then we have a gift with purchase from the Botanical Collection. I think it's also a GWP that comes with Botanical sets, not 1% sure. Anyhow, you may check out your local Lego store, like what the conditions are for this gift with purchase, but 40762 as a reference. It's actually, yeah, it's called the Flower Pot. It looks actually quite nice. And then we have a ton of announcements. Actually, we're talking June 1st release time frame or time window now. And all of these Jurassic Park sets come, as far as I can tell, with new dinosaurs. So not brick built ones, but like big fake dinosaurs, which is really cool. I've always been a big fan of these. Anyhow, let's go through these sets. Actually, there is even more Jurassic World announcement. So what you can do is, as always, down below in the podcast show notes / video description, at least on the services where I can provide that, i.e. not TikTok, because there it's not really feasible, but on all the other platforms, I will provide you with links into the ZHEGAO. You can check this out directly. And what you can do always here is down below, you see different categories, license and brand categories. And here you have Jurassic World, so you can check out other sets as well. For instance, the baby dinosaur Dolores that I have actually will not cover in this show today. Usually, you know, I can't talk about all the new sets or set updates of every week, but I will talk about all those that have actually one of these new dinosaurs included and one other one. I will come to this in a second. Anyhow, 76975 is the first one. It's the T-Rex River Escape, and T-Rex is the name of the game because there's actually a new T-Rex included in this set as well. And I think that is actually a pretty good looking T-Rex. Multiple colors used for the print, multi-molded as far as I can tell. Looks really nice. I'm really a big fan of this dinosaur design. However, it comes with, you have to pay a pretty penny for this one, $50 US. Obviously, with all these dinosaur driven sets, you can't really look at price per piece or cents per piece, actually 25, which is not good, of course, but this is most and foremost around the dinosaur, which is very different from this one set I want to talk about. And this is the Mosasaurus 76974. So this one, as the name of the set already says, is brick built. It's because it is the brick built Mosasaurus boat mission. Very well done dinosaur. I really like this design. I also like the color choice of the pieces. Obviously, with the dinosaurs, I think nobody really knows what the color of these animals were, but I think Lego made a great choice here. Looks really nice. And I think it also comes with a couple of pet printed pieces. The 2x2 curved slopes at least look like they have been printed. Nice design. I'm really big fan what the Lego team did here. Also, really like the boat. The boat, of course, comes with stickers, but I think it's a very nifty boat design. But most of all, I think the true highlight here is the brick-built dinosaur. Then we come again back to prefabricated dinosaurs, actually two in this set. First, we have a raptor, and then we have a Titanosaurus. 76973 is the set. So two dinosaurs included. And yeah, they again, both of them look really nice. The large one is in a dark bluish gray. With a light bluish gray / white as a printed accent color, which looks really nice, like the orange of the nose. Actually, the colors are very different. If you look at this picture, it feels almost like orange, and if you go to the other picture here, it's more like a brown tone. But I guess somewhere in between it is going to be nice dinosaur. Also, like the small raptor. In addition, there's a small what is it, like a gas station, something like that. $100 US, 17.2 cents a piece. And with that, we're moving on to a smaller set. 76972 is the Raptor Off-Road Escape. Here we have two dinosaurs included. First, the larger one here is like the smaller one from the previous set. And then we also have kind of a baby raptor or baby dinosaur, which also looks quite nifty. Oh, by the way, of course, I didn't talk about it, but all of these sets, because it's Jurassic World, come also with a bunch of minifigures. And then we have like the largest set for $150 US. You will get the 76976 Spinosaurus or Spinosaurus and the Quetzalcoatlus. I have no idea. 76976. So it's a flying dinosaur. And then, of course, the Spinosaurus, which also looks quite nice, comes in a reddish brown tone with something like 10 as an accent color plus yellow. It will be interesting to see. My guess is that the back piece is actually dual molded. It doesn't look like printed, but let's see how this will turn out. Again, the dinosaurs are the true highlight here, but I also like the building. I think it has a certain like Southern American, like I don't know, Inca vibe or something like that. Personally, I think that Lego has done a better job here with the Indiana Jones sets that they did a couple of years ago. But nevertheless, I think it's for a kid set. It's a nice design, but again, the true highlight here are the dinosaurs. With that, we're moving on to Mork, and here we have now available a new fire station, 20122. So this is an interesting one. It comes with 1,823 pieces, so everything is brick built. It is 32 by 16 studs, and you're gonna pay for it slightly below $50 US from China, which is not too bad. There's also a fire engine included. What is interesting, as far as I can tell, this is not a full-blown building, but just a facade, a front, but still, even so, if you can access it from the back, it's still modular, which personally I think would not really have been necessary. On the other hand, because it's relatively simple and straightforward, brick built, I think it was very easy to implement. So you have modularity, but you can also access it from the back. From my point of view, a kit set, but with 1,800 pieces, that's actually a lot of building experience for the money. With that, we're moving on to the red container truck by Mould King, 24069. Looks also a little bit like a kit set to me, minifigure scale, kind of 630 pieces, and you can get this again from China for slightly below 30 euros. Looks quite nice, actually. Personally, I think it's too big for most road systems that we have, both like what Wange is doing or Lego is doing. I think it's slightly too big for that, but I don't know, if you have a construction area, if you're building your own harbor or something like that, this should fit quite well. And then we have a Technic Tractor 18037. Mould King is calling this one the wheeled tractor. Yeah, personally, I've never been a big fan of these wheel designs. I think my understanding is this allows you to go also sideways with the vehicle. I've actually never had one of those myself, but here we go. Technic set comes with full electronics. There's like a already prepared module on the inside. You see this a lot from Mould King with their tanks, where they have a component like this one, but also CaDA is doing this from time to time. The big benefit, of course, is that you have usually pretty good motorization. This almost feels like an RC car in many ways, so it is usually a lot more robust to drive around with this one compared to regular, let's say, everything is Technic built, including the drivetrain. With that, we're moving on to the ZDL11. So this is a wheeled assault vehicle or wheeled basically light tank, light armored vehicle. My understanding is the ZTL-11, I think, is from the Chinese army. As far as I can tell, this again comes remote controlled. It has 1,293 pieces, and you can buy this from China for around $80, more or less. So this again, as far as I can tell, comes with one of these prefabricated RC modules, but it also has like an additional small motor. So my guess is this is for like moving not only the turret, which is quite standard for Mould King's tank line, but also basically you can raise the cannon if you raise or lower the cannon as well. So you have additional functionality here. and you can drive this thing also with your smartphone, not just with the remote, which of course is also included. With that, we're moving on to two motorcycle sets by Reobrix, 11037 and 36. Basically the exact same vehicle, looks almost like a Vespa, but of course comes without a license, has also a lot of vibes from the Lego Vespa, especially if you look at this flower arrangement here on the back, which looks a lot like what Lego has been doing. However, everything else seems to be their own design. It's quite authentic, actually. Both of them are, as far as I can tell, absolutely identical. The only difference is the color scheme. So you have one in like a light blue, which is of course a lot like Lego's Vespa, and then you have this orange version as well. Both of them you can actually import from China for around 50 bucks, but there are also Amazon Marketplace listings as well. Then we have two sets with MiniBrixx. First of all, the Mushroom Boat by ZHEGAO 641004. Again, this comes with brick size mini, keep that in mind. MiniBrixx is basically, for those of you who are not familiar, it's like what in the Lego world Duplo is. Basically, Duplo has this exact, it's like an upscaled version of the regular brick. The mini brick is the same thing, it's just smaller, it goes in the other direction. So that's the best way to explain it. So technically it's exactly the same system. The bricks look the same, they're just a lot smaller because they're accurately scaled down. This is different from diamond bricks, because diamond bricks are even smaller, or nano bricks, which is actually a brand, so most people call them diamond bricks. They are, because they're so much smaller, the regular system wouldn't work anymore, I guess. So they are different. They are not to scale to regular bricks, but the concept, of course, brick building is the same, but it's a different, not compatible concept. While MiniBrixx is just like a regular brick, only smaller. Anyhow, keep in mind when you look at the price point, because usually these sets come across as quite cheap if you look at like what you pay per brick, but keep in mind these bricks are a lot smaller. 641004 is the Mushroom Boat, looks quite nice actually, and then you have also a Mushroom House. I don't know if ZHEGAO has been influenced here by the recent sets that actually were successful in the Brickling Designer Program by Jonas over here from Germany, the designer, who I think brought through BDP 2 mushroom sets, if I recall correctly. This, I think it's an authentic and different design, but maybe the idea came from the mushrooms' success in the Brickling Designer Program. The second set, the Mushroom House 64102, you can purchase from Chinese retailers for around 20 bucks, 2.5 cents a piece. With that, we are done with set updates. Let's come to one reading recommendation. We have published a review on the AT-AT driver helmet from Lego 75429. Brett has done the review. Brett is actually a very well-known designer on Rebrickable for helmet, actually. I think he's still, I mean, he has given up on this, I think. He's not doing helmets anymore, but I think he has still one of the largest portfolios of Star Wars helmets on Rebrickable, or Star Wars hats, I should rather say. So you may want to check out his Rebrickable account or his Instagram account. He's doing still a little bit of stuff here and there. But anyhow, he's also done a review for us, and we have published it on the site. Actually, I'm also a bit excited on this set, because first of all, I mean, the helmet collection is back, which is already great news. But what is even more interesting, I think he made a pretty nice picture that shows this perfectly well. Lego has changed the entire design concept. So in the past, the helmets were more or less designed like big brick heads, if you will, by means using snot bricks, having this square box with snot bricks on the outside, and then you just attach plates to them. And with that, you get the 3D model done. But nowadays, they're using a much more complex design with various Technic pieces, etc., to get all the weird angles into the helmet. The result is actually a much nicer design, a much more authentic design. It does not look as layered in quotes as the other sets did, and it's also, of course, a lot more exciting during the building process. So if you're interested, check out the review on merlinsbricks.com, or you can actually, I mean, if you open setdb.org, which is basically just a shortcut, you will directly move into the set database. You can just go up in the navigation into articles, and here you will see all our reviews. We are doing a ton of Lego stuff, but also other brands as well, similar to this show. With that, we're moving on to MOCs of the week, and here I picked a couple of new interesting designs from Rebrickable from this week. First of all, Marin Brick Design has published a Lego 6077 remake, and what a remake it is. That's actually a very beautiful design. 2,000 pieces, speaks for itself. It's much more detailed, of course, than the original Lego set, but more than anything else, I guess it has been designed to work very well with Lion Knight's castle. It comes in a similar scale, if you will, similar building techniques, the entire tree design, of course. I mean, as if for those of you who have built Lion Knight's castle or seen one of the reviews, Lion Knight's castle also had a certain like forest man hideout kind of vibe hidden below the actual castle. So of course here these 6077 remakes should go very well with this one. It's much easier nowadays to get your hands on fitting minifigures. So yeah, perfect representation. I really like this design, quite beautiful. The designer is asking for 15 euros. If that is not enough castle for you, here you go, the Medieval Trade Tower by Pantelis Mentos. I hope I pronounced this correctly. 1,691 pieces, 10 euros for the instructions, and it's actually quite a nice castle. Very straightforward building techniques, I would say, but still it has a couple of interesting details. I really like the overall design. It's quite solid, sturdy, how a castle should look like, if you will. And then we have the Fire Lookout Tower by Distracted Builder. Quite a nice design, actually. Funhole did a set on a Fire Lookout Tower, of course, because it's a Funhole set with lighting and everything, but I also really like this brick build design. Quite beautiful. I like the small toilet, which is a very nice detail. The car that comes with is also quite nice. So overall, yeah, just a fresh and clean design. Really like this one, Fire Lookout Tower by Distracted Builder. And then I picked Butcher's Corner. I think that is, this is Castle Series number 2, as BlueBrixx call it. Pretty sure I talked about the other one last week or maybe the week before, the Archer's Rest. It's actually quite an interesting design. It looks, again, very sturdy. It's relatively low. It does not have that much height, and with that comes a certain sturdy look. It is modular. So first of all, you can, of course, combine the two sets, but also you could just keep building or repeating the individual modules, and already at this point make this thing a lot bigger than, what BlueBrixx is offering to you, because these are individual modules, and of course you can make more of them or just use them as an inspiration to make your own. So I think it's an interesting castle concept. I hope that more stuff is coming from BlueBrixx at this point. This is number 2, 900 pieces, 5 euros. And then we have the UNSC Terminus, a Valiant Class super heavy cruiser by Gurdi Eule, I guess a German-speaking designer. 6,899 pieces, 30 bucks for the instructions, which I think is the smallest of your problems, because you have to buy almost 7,000 pieces. But as you can see in these pictures, it has been built for real. For all of you who are fans of the show, the UNSC Terminus may be for you. I think the brick design looks really beautiful, very well done. But when I'm looking at these pictures, and I have this a lot with spaceships, I always think, wouldn't it look nice if they could actually fly? Of course, you have them, you have to stand them somewhere. Of course, stands are included in the instruction, but of course, it doesn't look the same, now does it, right, compared to flying around in space. But anyhow, I guess this is what we have to do, living on good old Earth with gravity and everything. Anyhow, let's move on to the modular French Café, a modification of the new Lego 10362. I think it was called, French Café or something like that. It's from the new Icon series Restaurants of the World, something like that. Of course, what Lego did was only a facade in a nutshell. So what Brick Artisan has done here, just throw an additional 162 pieces and then make this. Technically, it's not an alternate build because you need additional pieces. That's why it's called a modification, but it's almost like an alternate build. 162 pieces is not too much, and now you have a full-blown building with interior and everything. And of course, you can throw this in between your modulars as well, because it is on a 16 by 32 base plates. If you're in the market for something bigger, the City Center by Rebel Neely, maybe for you, 5,708 pieces. I actually did talk about the community square last week, so 2 additional MOCs have been published by this designer in a similar fashion. I just picked one for today, the City Center, but there's also another one, City Garden, I think it is called. You may want to check out this account. It's similar vibe, I would say. It is very detailed. It has, I don't know, it feels like vacation. I don't know how else to describe it, but there comes a really nice feeling across when looking at this design. I really love all 3 of them. A beautiful design, a lot of details, but of course 5,700 pieces, not too shabby. 25 euros for the instructions though. And then comes my personal highlight of the week, the Dungeons and Dragons minifigure display by ZHEGAO. I don't know, maybe it was supposed to be called, I don't know what Plp actually means, but I can say this thing has 3,989 pieces, and the idea is basically to have a small diorama for every minifigure of the Dungeons and Dragons minifigure collection series, which was, I think, one of the best ones that LEGO has ever done. I'm a huge fan of these minifigures. They look amazing. I'm really happy that I have one of each of them. Most of them are actually almost perfect. It's one of LEGO's best jobs for minifigures in recent years, if you ask me. But anyhow, it's just minifigures. So if you want to have something decent to show them, to present them, here I think you have a couple of very interesting ideas from this designer who is asking for $28 Canadian. But of course, you can also just use them as an inspiration to come up with your own ideas. Maybe use 1 or 2 from these and then make the others up on your own. Actually, quite a beautiful idea. As you can see, the designer has also built them for real. With that, we are done with the show. I hope there was a couple of interesting news in there for you this week. If you like the show, wherever you listen to this, watch this, like, rate, comment, subscribe, whatever is possible on your individual platform. As always, we will see that we get published a video version on YouTube, TikTok, and Spotify. And then, of course, there's the audio version on all the major podcast platforms. With that, thanks for listening. See you next week.